of our attendees who are with us here. Good morning from the East Coast, and good evening if you are in another part of the world. But here this morning, we are very excited to talk to you a little bit about the International Teaching and Global Leadership Masters of Science here in the School of Education. We call our program ITGL for short, and today we are going to be focusing on career pathways featuring many of our recent alumni who have graduated from our ITGL program. So you'll get to hear from them and a little bit from Dr. Adams about the ITGL program and what you can really do after you graduate. Well, my name is Serena Stewart. I am Associate Director of Admissions here in the School of Education, and just wanted to welcome you and thank you so much for being here today.
Good morning again on the East Coast, and good evening if you're joining us from East or Southeast Asia, and maybe afternoon if you're somewhere in Europe in the middle here. I'm Jennifer Adams, and I am the Director of the International Teaching and Global Leadership Program here at Johns Hopkins University School of Education. I'm also an Associate Professor, so I teach in ITGL. So I'm really happy to have some of my former students with me today, which is like really exciting, seeing what people do after they leave us at Johns Hopkins. I've been at Johns Hopkins for about 3 years now, leading ITGL. I also have worked in the field of global and international education for a couple of decades now, both as a faculty member at Drexel University and Stanford University, but also as a primary school teacher in Hong Kong and in Taiwan, and also in various roles working related to international development, primarily in East Asia. So I bring that expertise with me to this role, and also in the way that I think about careers in international education, as well as what I've seen my former students over these years do for careers after they've left the International Teaching and Global Leadership Program. So I really want to showcase some of our recent alumni today, but before I do that, I did want to talk a little bit to provide some wider context for people that don't know anything about International Teaching and Global Leadership Master's Program, but also to position the ITGL program within the larger field. And so one of the things that we really think about when we are preparing future global education leaders in ITGL is an expansive view of the role of education in society and in the economy. So what we think about is this idea that educational expertise really belongs everywhere, that we certainly expect some of our graduates to work in schools, and we do have some graduates with us like that today. But also we prioritize the idea of infusing educational experts and their expertise, as well as developing leadership skills with those students into diverse fields, with the idea that educational expertise belongs everywhere. And so as a result of that, we really see our graduates ending up in multiple careers and various spaces, ranging from business to educational technology to government work, working in the nonprofit sector, as well as in different types of educational roles. And even within the education sector, we see students working in fields ranging from higher ed to curriculum development to ed tech, to research. And so really want to highlight this idea that we're preparing students with broad educational knowledge and then also focused educational expertise that they can use in a variety of different careers and settings. And that's really the way that we think about the curriculum in ITGL. Overall, things that I want to emphasize is that it's an applied experiential focus in the curriculum. So we do a lot of hands-on simulated work in our classes. It's also very career-oriented in that we have students engaged in what we call extended learning, which are really mini internship experiences where students are working in placements in schools, educational organizations, and companies every week, getting hands-on real life work experience in the space of education. In addition, our students are also engaged in a portfolio is their final piece of work in the program, where we really try to illustrate the skills and knowledge that they've developed by actually showcasing particular artifacts and projects that they've completed while they're a student in ITGL. With this in mind, the way that we think about our curriculum, and I think the coursework in ITGL, was with the idea of trying to develop several types of transferable skills, right, or competencies that students can use in a variety of different careers as they move forward after leaving us at Hopkins. So with that in mind, I've just tried to list out here a few things that we really are infusing into the curriculum that we hope students can carry with them as they engage in professional life. Some of these priorities would be interdisciplinary knowledge and skills, so being able to cross disciplinary boundaries and think from multiple critical perspectives, global competencies, including intercultural communication. More recently, we've actually developed a new course in AI in education and a new focus area in AI and learning innovation with the idea of helping students develop AIQ, right? So we've heard of IQ and EQ. Now we're talking about AIQ, the ability to engage critically and responsibly with AI systems, as well as the capacity to use and translate research into solutions, and also make research accessible to people that are making decisions in multiple formats, as well as the entrepreneurial and leadership competencies that I've mentioned, and then the overall science of learning within an ethically minded and also equity-based context. So really trying to help develop skills that students can use in multiple career settings. And so because of that here, I just want to, this is not totally expansive, but these are some of the different areas where our students have been working traditionally. So again, you can see there right in the center, we have several ITGL graduates that are working in schools as founders of their own school systems or schools, international schools, leaders and teachers within those sectors. But if you look over on the right side of this figure, we see people that have been working in international organizations or NGOs, people that are working in product design and management for education, program officers, people that are working in policy analysis, parenting and family education, government, corporate social responsibility. And then if we look more to the left side, we see other types of jobs ranging from jobs in the corporate setting, in strategy, marketing, innovation, talent management, for example. Also, different types of research positions, publishing and media, as well as higher education and also other types of adult learning and curriculum design positions. So really wide-ranging fields. As I mentioned, we highlighted several of our alumni last year that were working in these careers that I have highlighted here in green. Most of these alumni, not exclusively, but most of them had been out of the program probably 4 or 5 years. And so we really wanted to take the opportunity this year to be thinking about some of our more recent graduates. Here's also just a figure that you can also find on our ITGL website that shows where our global alumni are working. So you can see that we have many students that are working in different parts of Asia, as well as students who have stayed in the US post-graduation working. Again, here's just another example of looking at the careers for people that are more interested in a list type format versus my big picture. But these are just some sample careers that our graduates have participated in upon graduation, ranging again from startups in ed tech, founders of early childhood centers, international development work, but also we can see a range of marketing careers, finance careers, entrepreneurial ventures, also higher education and research. Also wanted to highlight that we do have several graduates that go on to advanced education before entering the labor market. So we currently have recent graduates that have been admitted to both second master's degrees, but also to PhD programs in the US. And here are some of the institutions where we have ITGL grads completing their doctoral degrees. Without further ado, I want to sort of move on here. And again, I'm showing you one of my career pathways visuals here. And you can see that I've highlighted some space in like an orangey pink color. And that's really to highlight the alumni that we have with us today. So you're going to hear from some alumni today that are graduates between 2022 and 2025, so our most recent year as well. And these students are graduates now, not no longer students, are working in research institutes in higher education related to admissions, also in schools, and also working in business, specifically in marketing. And so really want to take the opportunity to have them introduce themselves in just a moment and ask them some questions about what they do in their careers and also how their work in ITGL helped them think about what they do or help them develop a pathway to the particular job that they're in. So we're going to move on here and look at our featured ITGL alumni here. You can see that they represent a few different focus areas in ITGL, from entrepreneurship and education to digital age learning and technology to teaching English as a foreign language. They are all working in Greater China, so in Shanghai, Hangzhou, Beijing, and Hong Kong right now, and represent different cohorts of our students. And so I think I'd like to begin with asking each one of you, and I think we'll start with your slide up here. Well, I think we'll start with this slide up here, Serena, I think, so that our audience can get a sense of people's jobs and who they are, but then maybe we'll switch to no slides in a few minutes if that works, so we can just have an engaging conversation. But I think for this first round, we can just go in the order on the slide. So starting with Jiabua Jane, if you can just spend a few minutes introducing yourself and telling us about your career right now.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Adams. It's really my honor to be here to share my personal working experience with our students. So, hi guys, my name is Jane, and I graduated from our ITGL program at Johns Hopkins in 2024, and my major is entrepreneurship in education. And I'm currently working in Shanghai right now. So before Johns Hopkins, I studied double majored in finance and marketing at the University of Sydney in Australia for my bachelor degree. And during my time at Hopkins, I served as the president of the School of Education Chinese Student Association. And I also organized our first SOE graduation prom, which was such a rewarding experience and brightening our students together from different programs and cultures. So after the graduation, I just changed my job. So for my first job, I worked at EY. I think most of you guys know, in the consulting team, where I supported multifunctional clients in financial risk management. And this experience helped me build strong analysis skills and also problem solving skills. And recently, I just joined Coca-Cola China in Shanghai as a marketing specialist in the marketing team. So in my current role, I help manage some brand campaigns and market insights for consumer engagement across China. And it's been really exciting to work in a such global company where creativity, strategy, and culture understanding all come together. So yeah, that's all for my brief introduction. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Ariana, do you want to go next? Rongxiu.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rongxia Xu, and I'm very happy to be here today. I'm currently an administrative specialist in the Office of Academic Affairs at Westlake University in Hangzhou. My main focus is on undergraduate admissions. I coordinate prospective student events, organize campus visits, and made admission conference at our targeted cities and provinces, help ensure all the applicants and their families have a meaningful and welcoming experience with our university. And beyond admission, I also support academic operations, such as budgeting, recruitment, and even coordination. I work closely with our faculty, students, and administrative teams to make sure everything runs smoothly in the university. I completed my Master of Science in Education at Johns Hopkins University, where I was part of the ITGL program. And before that, I earned my bachelor's degree at Xidian University. I'm passionate about education, cross-cultural communication, and helping students connect with academic opportunities that fit their goals and interests.
That's great. Thanks so much. Do you have anything you want to add there, Ariana? I mean, I also know that you're actually getting ready for also a career jump. Do you want to say anything about that?
Oh yes,
or is that secret? Or is that secret?
Yeah, recently I'm going to work in Rochester Institute of Technology to work for student affairs.
Yeah, so Ariana's actually it's great. Also, I feel like we have these new careers here today, but then also people are making their sort of next jump. So Ariana is going to be coming to the United States to be working also in higher education as a student affairs specialist. So congratulations on that move, and also Jane, also congratulations on your recent move to Coca-Cola as well. So Yinra and John, do you want to tell us what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Dr. Adams, and hi, Serena. Nice to meet you. And hello, everyone. My name is John Hao, and I'm a 2024 graduate of the ITGL program, specifically from the TEFL track. And currently, I'm working as an administrative officer at a university in Beijing, and I'm actually still rotating through different departments, which has been a great way to learn the ropes, right? And in my role, I function as a bridge between university policies and student needs, helping to ensure that our educational programs run smoothly and also effectively. And it is the work that really needs you to be like detailed, patient, and honestly to genuinely care about helping both the staff and the students and also teachers. So my goal is to use this administrative role to create a positive and impactful learning environment for students and also for teachers. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And I have lots of questions to ask you, John, about what you're doing and how you ended up there when we get to that part of our panel. And then Sophia, our most recent grad, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're up to?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia. I just graduated this summer. And right after that, I moved to Hong Kong and started to work as the executive assistant to the head in Harrow, Hong Kong. So my job is mainly to support the headmaster in all aspects of work at school, except for the academic side. And then I also line manage all the other PAs across the school, which is a decent team. And before that, I was a founding member in Harrow Shenzhen. I was there for 4 years. We opened the school during pandemic, and we went through a lot of things. And I say I was actually taking a gap year in Johns Hopkins in ITGL. But of course, I realized it's more than just a gap year, but it's also a time for reflection, a time for a lot of thinking, because when we're working, we're always busy doing things instead of really taking the time to sit down and reflect and think and plan the next steps. So I was really happy that I could take a year in Johns Hopkins in ITGL, and I'm really lucky to get a job in the last week before I graduate. And now I'm very happy in my current position, and feel free to let me know, to reach out to me if you ever visit Hong Kong or Shenzhen in the Greater Bay Area. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm going to be there in December, Sophia, so I'll definitely be reaching out and seeing you when I'm there. Well, thanks to all of you for those like really, concise ways to talk about your job. I do have some like sort of follow-up questions, but I think many of our current students who I told they could also log on and watch this like after it's posted, but also people that are interested in ITGL probably are interested in like how you ended up in these positions, right? You graduated from ITGL, you have this sort of broad-based knowledge and education, you have developed some focus area specializations that we've seen here. But can each of you talk a little bit about how you ended up in your current sort of career space? Did you target that space? Did you connect with other alumni? Did you always know that you wanted to end up where you are? Like, how did you navigate to the position that you're in? And you guys can go in any order. If anyone wants to jump in first, that's fine.
So I would like to have a kickoff.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yes, so my path into this field was a blend of intentional planning and seizing the right opportunity. And a key part of that was the extended learning. That component at TGL, which is a special part of the program designed to give us the practical experience outside the classroom, as Dr. Adams have shared. And also, I've heard that this year there are more options for new admitted students, right? Yeah, which is amazing. So benefited from it. I used this opportunity to work as a research assistant with one of the School of Arts affiliate institution. And there I got hands-on experience with data collection and literature reviews. But more importantly, I started to practicing how to act as a bridge between research and practice. And from the start of it, I was fortunate to collaborate with professors and doctoral students in their research lab after extended learning and even after I graduated. And our work on student motivation and self-efficacy was presented at AERA, which was an incredible experience. So that entire journey gave me a crucial and behind the scenes look at how educational ecosystems operates, if I can say that. And after graduating, I knew I wanted to work in a high impact educational environment. So when I saw an opening from my job from this department, and I gave it a try. So when I saw an opening for an administrative role, and I got it. Yes.
John, I just want to before we jump to other people, I just want to add sort of a quick follow-up. So one, just for the audience, so John conducted his extended learning at the Center for the Social Organizations of Schools. And John, I believe you worked closely with Professor Marcy Davis. Is that correct that you worked with Marcy, right? So because he
Yes.
just mentioned his work as a research assistant. And so we do place students in research assistantships or in their extended learning experiences in our different research centers that we have affiliated with the School of Education, but also we do have some students at other research centers across the university. So I know, John, that one of the things that I was asked about when I was a reference for you for your position was about your sort of research experience. And so I was wondering, can you just talk a little bit about as you were doing the work for COS and working collecting data or interviewing people, getting firsthand knowledge of some of Marcy's projects, did it make you think about different types of research careers? Like, was that sort of the moment that you knew you wanted to be a bridge between research and practice? I just was wondering how that work as a researcher made you think about your future, if you could comment on that a little bit.
Yes, sure. So when I'm conducting research on like self-efficacy, so I'm thinking about if the students are really thinking about their efficacy, or if there is somehow a power from your administrative or some from the teachers. So how does this impact students' self-efficacy? And then I have that thought, and I do some like meta-analysis, system reviews, and I found that the functions between the functions of the bridge at the educational practitioners is fundamental. So I feel like that is the opportunity and also the benefits from the ITJL, from the extended learning that I got. Yes, and also becoming an administrative officer is kind of like a bridge between teachers who are giving like lectures and students who are gaining knowledges and the staffs of the university, the total frameworks of the university. So it's kind of like the university is built to like giving students some kind of knowledge and helping them to gain more knowledge to like have furthering their like to have their lifelong learning or that kind of stuff. And becoming and doing research is kind of like a thing that you can do as an administrative. So I also enjoy doing like research and collaborating with our uh, educational researchers in our universities and also to continue our work on like self-efficacy or some kind of like other research on cognition or motivation. Yes.
Great. Thank you. I mean, it sounds like the actual topic of Marcy's project that you were able to engage with actually really is something that you ended up feeling really motivated and passionate about yourself, which is like awesome. So thank you. We'll come back to you about with a few other questions, but I want to jump in and ask Ariana and Sophia and Jane to weigh in about how they ended up in their positions.
Oh, I can go
Yeah,
next. Yeah,
great.
sure. So, as I mentioned before, my career path has been a journey across, different industries from education to consulting and now marketing. So, but what connects all of them, I think, is my passion for, understanding people and creating meaningful impact. So, when I was in Johns Hopkins, we co-founded a startup called Gap Bond, this little company, through our JHU's the entrepreneurship program called Fast Forward U. So this really helped me to, um, you know, to find like what I want to do in the future because in this I think in this program we designed like a gap year learning program for the young professionals in China. So this experience made me realize like how much I enjoy connecting insights about, human motivation with strategy and storytelling, which is exactly what marketing is about. So my time at EY like strengthened my data analysis mindset, and now at Coca-Cola, although I only joined like 2 months, I think I'm combining that structure with creativity to, shape how brands communicate with people. So even though I've moved between fields, the core theme of connecting learning, people, and purpose has always guided my path through like this whole like JHU, their courses, their programs. So yeah.
So, Jane, when you graduated from ITGL, and I know EY was your entry job out of it,
Yeah.
did you
Mhm.
know that you wanted to take those sort of skills that you had developed and always had been, I guess, developing even since you were an
Yeah.
undergrad, that you developed
Yeah.
more like related to human motivation and strategy
Mhm.
and storytelling, and you
Right.
wanted to target the corporate sector?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. So when I so at first I don't know what I want to do. I think most of the our students have that like question like, oh, what should I do in the future? But I think during this whole learning like the whole learning process in JHU, like through different class and different programs, and also our, some activities, I think like students will find out what they want to do because just as I mentioned, you learn a lot like through this. I learn a lot. I know I have a lot of passion for, creating meaningful impact like through people. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. Very
Right.
exciting. Doing different things and also super
Yes.
like you can feel like how excited you are about what you're doing. That makes me just so happy as
Yes.
someone who knew you when you were with students when you were students.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ariana, do you want to jump in as our most seasoned graduate here?
Yes, sure. I set my career goal to work in a higher education institution for myself when I was an undergraduate student. And after finishing my master's degree at Johns Hopkins, I knew I wanted to continue working in a university, but with an international perspective, especially in roles that allow me to bridge global perspectives with local contexts. My extended learning during my graduate studies involved an internship at PS 184 Shuangwen School in New York City. This experience gave me my first opportunity to interact directly with students. I also completed my one-year OPT at Berkeley School in New York City, where I taught Mandarin to elementary students. I have accumulated a lot of practical teaching experience. These experiences made me reflect on school's operational mechanisms behind teaching. When I returned to China, I was drawn to Westlake University because of its innovative, research-driven environment and its commitment to internationalism. The university is relatively young but rapidly growing, and it offers an opportunity to help shape systems and programs from the ground up. And starting as an administrative specialist in Office of Academic Affairs allow me to combine the organizational and communication skills I developed from ITGL program. And over time, I found that working in an undergraduate admission gave me a deep sense of purpose. It's really rewarding to help talented young students take their first steps into a university. Thank you.
Ariane, I just have a little follow-up question for you there. So, for everyone, I just had the opportunity actually to spend time with both Jane and Shanghai on my recent trip to China, but also I was able to visit Ariana at Westlake University, like where she works. For those of you who are not familiar with Westlake, it's a private, research STEM. Let me know, Ariana, if I'm getting this wrong. STEM-oriented university in China. And so one of the questions that I had for you, Ariane, is one of the things that struck me in your answer was that you were really looking for, even though you always knew you wanted to be in higher ed, that you wanted to be in a place where you could use the international perspectives that you developed. And you also talked about sort of bridging the global and local, which is something that we really focus on in ITGL. So when you returned to China, were you open to sort of any higher education opportunity, or did you focus really specifically on some of the universities that have a more international perspective, or that were private universities or global partnership universities? I was just wondering if you sort of targeted that particular field intentionally when you returned.
Yes.
Yes.
I did focus on those kind of universities.
And did you just, I'm just going to ask more specifics about like your job search. Did you to connect with like a network of those universities, or did you just look for positions as they were advertised? Did you contact the universities? How did you approach sort of finding a position like in that type of university?
I just see those kind of job searching advertisements on the websites. Yeah, and also actually China now have more and more universities like Westlake universities now, because they want to build a new university with a new system which are different from the traditional ones to attract more talented young students and also attract more excellent professors from all over the world.
Right. Yeah. You're definitely at an exciting place right now. So anyway, thank you. Sophia, I'm going to turn it over to you. And again, I think in your introduction, you mentioned that you did work for some part of Harrow, as founding it in Shenzhen before you came to ITGL, and that you are working in the same organization in a different role, which I think is another way of thinking about a career path. So can you talk a little bit about how you made that decision, maybe to leave your position and come to a master's degree and then return, and how you ended up back at Harrow? Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. So first of all, education wasn't my first career. It's actually my second career. Um, and it was a very cautious decision that I'll enter either educational or medical path. And I'm ended up in international school. And it wasn't until I ended up in a bilingual IB school in Beijing that I realized that education is much more than academic attainments. I grew up only looking at this one solo point, but there's so much more about a person, about children. Like there are a lot of times when Chinese people, when they look at children, they don't really look at them like individuals, but there are so many other parts of a human being. And it was then I feel like I want to do something for Chinese pupils and especially the families, because a lot of this involves with family or parent education as well. And I moved down to Shenzhen, and it's kind of by coincidence, but it's kind of like a destiny that I started to work for Harrow. I feel like it was a very tough journey. That's something I would like to encourage younger people as well. Like, don't be scared when there's challenges. It was a nightmare founding a school during pandemic, even though we had a group background, we had so much support from different departments. But it also gave me the chance to really stand side by side with the headmaster, really help him in all sorts of work, founding, developing, establishing the school. Like if someday some people say, oh, I can't take this job because it's not in my job description, I would say, don't never say that before you turn 30. Okay, don't say that, because exploring your exposing yourself to as many opportunities as possible would really help you understand yourself and what you want for your future. And I feel like my journey to Johns Hopkins speak for that, because it was a very cautious decision. I knew that I would go back to grad school. I knew that I want to go to a Western country because I could feel that it's more suitable for my personality. I benefit more from mentorship like education, which is more like in Johns Hopkins in Western countries. And I also cautiously made a decision to find a job in Hong Kong because over the years, I realized I'm very interested in cultures. And I feel this is part of my mission, my calling, to get the East and the West. People always thought that I've been living in abroad for many years, but I've never really until going to Johns Hopkins. And I think the difference between me and some other people is because I really look into people's mindsets. I really look into why people do what, and why would they want to manage things, especially crisis, in certain ways that's different from Chinese people. So Hong Kong, we all know that it's a very mature place, a great mixture of East and West culture. So I'm learning in here. And also Harrow Hong Kong is a much more established school. If you look it up, you'll know that it has really good performance out there. So it's like another cautious decision to work for a more established school, so that I understand just like how we go through the venture courses in Johns Hopkins. How do we plan it? How do we launch it? And how do we sustain it? So yep, that's what I'm doing now. And I'm still very excited for what's coming up for me.
Thank you, Sophia. And I hope that when I'm in Hong Kong in December that I can actually stop by, not only see you, but I'd love to actually check out what's happening at Harrow, because it sounds really exciting. My next question, I feel like all of you guys have sort of touched on it a little bit, but I want to give you an opportunity to more directly answer the question. So I guess my question is, like, when you think back on your time in ITGL, what aspects of the program helped prepare you for the current role that you're in? Now, listening to you all talk so far, I've heard people mention extended learning. I've heard people mention OPT. I've heard people talk about research experience. Sophia, you just mentioned like some of the courses that you took in your focus area. And then also, I want to also say that Jane mentioned also her work as the president of the Chinese Student Association. So I would say those are also activities that are available for people to participate in. But I don't know if each one of you could give sort of a brief answer about if there's anything else you want to add, or you want to specifically add a little bit more on any of those topics. But like, what specific dimensions of the program actually helped prepare you for the role that you're in right now?
So, yeah, me again.
Yeah.
So I want to also kick off about when I'm thinking back. ITGL prepared me for my current role in a brief way. That is, the program provided a fundamental yet incredible, diverse, and hands-on skill set. We studied everything from like cognitive science in mind-brain teaching to practical classroom strategies in advanced correct
Instructional
me if I'm
strategies.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that is. And also in promoting active learning in TEFL classroom, like that kind of like focus area core course. And we also gain a wide global perspective through the courses on language acquisition in my focus and educational entrepreneurship and international policy, like when we're studying the German policy, right? It's really fascinating. And this broad foundation is an absolute shortcut in university administration, right? So where that is a place where you need to like understand the perspectives of both students and teachers and also policymakers. They are making policies and they are funding you. So it's much more important for you to know about the policies. Yes. So basically I'm talking about the courses, and I think that's very, very important for me as an administrative officer. Yes.
Thanks, John. Anyone else?
And I can say a little bit about my journey. So I think it's a very systematic review and reflection of how we manage a school, especially when we go through when we study the entrepreneur courses. I think it's a great reflection. We all know that the most ready entrepreneurs, they actually started as intrapreneurs, which is what I'm doing right now. So I think it's really given me the time that made me look at every aspect of how the school is run and managed. And also, I think it helps me to fill the gap because I've never teach in the classroom. But in the program, I also have the options to look at the academic side of the school. How do we design the curriculum? How do we understand how human brain learns? And how do we like teach and manage classrooms? Yeah, so it gives me the opportunity to, maybe I'm not going to teach anyway, but at least I understand what happens inside the classroom, and it would give me, I like using this phrase, the common sense to help me to manage the school. And the common sense is something that's not very easy to come with. Actually, you have to have some background understanding. You have to go through some experience in order to gain the common sense, which I think is very beneficial for our career development. And also, again, like I really, really encourage young people to expose themselves to as many things as possible, because otherwise you won't know all your options out there in the future, and you will realize there's a lot more options out there for you.
Great. I really appreciate that, Sophia, because I do think that's one of the things we're trying to do. So it makes me feel really happy. Like, I think I give the example of like ed tech companies, right? Where many of them fail because they understand the technology and the business, but they don't have that sort of what you're calling common sense about the way people learn and the science of learning and what happens in classrooms, right? So I think one of the reasons our students can be successful in many different spaces is because they take that knowledge of how people learn, right? What happens in classrooms, whether it's in the work that John's doing related to motivation, or what you're doing managing a school, right? Or, you know, what Jane and also Ariana are doing their work, that have that sort of foundational knowledge that's applicable in many spaces. I know we want to take some questions, so I'm going to just quickly give Ariana and Jane an opportunity to address this question, and then we'll move on to get some questions from the audience if that works. Yes, so Serena, do we have a quick minute for just, I don't know, Jane and Ariana, if you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, definitely.
I do have something to add.
Great.
When I think back on ITGL program, there are several aspects that really helped prepare me for my current role. Firstly, the global perspective, as I mentioned before. The program emphasizes understanding education systems from multiple cultural and policy viewpoints. That perspective helps me a lot when communicating with international applicants, collaborating with colleagues from diverse backgrounds, and shaping programs that are inclusive and forward-looking. Secondly, the practical project-based learning in ITGL program taught me how to apply theory to real-world education settings. From designing teaching to analyzing global education policies, I learned how to translate educational ideas into actionable systems, and skills that directly support my administrative work at Westlake. And thirdly, the collaborative and reflective environment at Johns Hopkins made a huge difference, where we were encouraged to think critically, work in teams, and adapt to challenges, all of which are daily realities in higher education institutions. And lastly, the mentorship and professional guidance from all of our professors and peers gave me the confidence to pursue an international career pace and to navigate the transition that come with working across cultures and institutions. Thank you.
It's amazing. Jane, any final thoughts?
I think you guys mentioned all of
Yeah.
that. Just the one I mentioned before, especially one project, the Fast Forward You.
Yeah,
So
good.
that one really gave me, a lot of help. But I think you guys mentioned all of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to open up to questions, but Jean, I just want to, one thing with the Fast Forward You. So when you did the
Yes.
project through Fast Forward You and got the seed
Mhm.
funding, that was a
Mhm.
university-wide initiative, right? So did
Yes.
you interact with
Yes.
students from beyond the ed school when you were
Yes.
doing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have students from like business school and some other departments. Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I think we can, I mean, why don't we open it up for questions and see if we have any? And if not, we can do one more round of questions with the panelists, but let's see if we have any specific questions that might come from our attendees. Does that work?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Great. So if any of our attendees have a question for our panelists, go ahead and put your question in the Q&A function for the webinar, and we will pose it to them. If you have a specific question for one of our students, you can certainly pose it to just one of our students as well.
Let's just give it a second for questions to come in. You know that I will always have them, but people sometimes are nervous. We want to any type of question is fair game with audience if you have any questions.
I know sometimes it takes people a little while to type as well, so we'll wait a minute for them.
All right, no open questions yet. So if one comes in, we'll definitely pivot to the question.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm just going to do a last sort of lightning round question here where I've asked, and I think, Sophia, you probably have been the most direct about this in your answers so far, but just like 1 minute-ish each, like, do you have any advice based on your own experience for people that want to pursue a career in global and international education?
So I would really suggest people to understand what you're passionate about, because otherwise you just feel lost out there. Because there are many opportunities out there, but you don't necessarily know which ones are a good fit for you. And usually, throughout your courses, throughout your assignments, like think about what make you feel passionate, what make you feel interested, what make you feel like you have some great ideas that you want to make it come true. I think that's a really good start of point. And secondly, I would strongly encourage people to connect with alumni or people who, if possible, if you have work experience before, stay connected with them, because that's how I get back to the hero group. I say, like, if you've never worked before, it's okay, because we have a lot of alumni, and you can also talk to all the faculties who can connect you with people who they think would be useful for you to provide some guidance for you. And thirdly, I say, if you're so lucky to have different options to choose, always prioritize somewhere who can provide you a good mentor, because especially at the very beginning of the career journey, you will need someone to help you set your standards, to set your understanding about this field, to also to introduce you to a greater connection. I think a good mentor is someone that you will be very lucky to have, someone who can share the experience with you, someone who can guide you, someone who cares about you. That's what a mentor also do. And someone who can introduce you to more people, someone who can give you opportunities, even funds. So yep, those are a few of my advice. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia. We do have a question now from the audience, and anyone can weigh in on this one. What have you found most challenging about translating your educational experience to your professional role? So any challenges that you've experienced and in finding your job, or, you know, translating it to your role that you want to speak about?
I say a lot of the skills that we learn in the program, they are transferable.
Yeah.
And I say a lot of these topics, um, you would have the feeling that you couldn't help starting to connect with a lot of other things. And sometimes you have to be reminded to come back. It has to be educational related. So I'm not too worried about that. But
Yeah.
I would say, like, I do encourage, like I mentioned, do capture any sparks you might have during the process of the course. And don't just like give up on it and just like, if you finish this assignment and just put it away. But if you really feel like you like it, don't let it go. Give it more thoughts and talk to people more. I'm sure there are a few very talkative person in those topics that you can talk to and get more idea about. So I say maybe the most challenging thing is, like, don't only start it until you are graduated or are
Yeah.
going to graduation, but think about those things early.
Thanks, Sophia. And again, apologies for my absence. My power died on my computer. I don't know why. Wherever I was, it wasn't charging. So anyway, I'm back. And I guess, Mike, we have a question in the chat that I'm going to ask the rest of our panelists to sort of pivot to for this last few minutes. And so we have a question here that says, what have you found most challenging about translating your educational experience to your professional role.
Yeah, Sophia did talk about that a little bit in
Oh,
your
okay, you did.
absence, Jennifer.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. But if anybody else wants to weigh in on that, they absolutely can.
Yeah, also I want to give a short add up
Sure.
about how we learn when we were at the ITGL. We learn about the perfect way of doing things, like doing educational research or conducting somehow like doing acting as an educational practitioners. But when you are in a real world like system with established things and with like budget limitations or sometimes a slower pace of change, like that kind of thing. So the challenge isn't like about the knowledge, but I feels like learning how to act uh or like learning the art of like patience and uh influence others in a slower pace is the things. It's about figuring out how to take that ideal and translate it into a small practical step. So in that way, you can find a specific viable entry point for for your job and for your improvement, and whether it is streamlining or like doing some kind of other things. So basically, that's my answer.
Great.
And that's a very good question, and I feel like I love it. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, and one thing, sorry about this. And one thing I want to say is that go beyond the classroom is also important for me. Like not just looking at the classroom, but also to connect, like what Sophia said, and also to like move in a slower pace and to learn how to be patient. Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, I totally agree with what John said because, classroom and working environment is totally different because we're not only just, using the knowledge, but we're also like from knowledge to the application, right? And also in the working, it's not just, by yourself and you think, okay, I'll try my best and everyone will agree what you said, but it's not. So you'll figure out, but it's not hard, but you just have to give yourself some time to understand people and collaborate with different people because we all have to like teamwork during the working. So yeah, but I think from like after you graduate from like ITGL, everyone is the best. So yeah.
Love hearing you say that, you guys, because I mean, we definitely, as you all know, do a lot of collaborative learning and teamwork in ITGL. I think the educational field is collaboratory, right? But students don't always realize at the time how important it is when you enter the real world. Like you just meant what you just said, Jane, in terms of like, and not everyone agrees with you, right? And you need to figure out how to work together on a team. And so we spent a lot of time trying to help students develop those, I guess, real life transferable skills. So I'm glad that they're coming in handy in the real world. But I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your very busy lives to share with us your advice and your pathway to your careers. Really have appreciated learning from all of you, and as someone who worked with many of you in class, it gives me just great joy and pride to see you all out there impacting so many lives of other people around the world in positive ways, which is what we set out to do. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much for your time and for your insights here this morning. As we wrap up our webinar, I did just want to provide some contact information for myself and Dr. Adams. If you have any additional questions about the admissions process or the ITGL program, please reach out to us. We're here to help and stay connected with the School of Education. You'll be able to find this webinar on YouTube with many other webinars we have done with the ITGL program. And you can connect with JHU on our different platforms as well. So please reach out if you have any questions, and thank you all for your time here this morning.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye.